and you thought that this was finished, this is a project car. It's never finished. But it is episode 100 and it is built, so we need to do something special to celebrate this. Now I'll stop you right here. Driving in anger is probably going to be a bit tricky because in this episode I either do the usual thing that I do in every single episode, and that is try and chase something that I'm not going to achieve, which is a fully finished ready to race car. And as luck would have it, something is on the horizon that means that this car will come out and get used, but not in anger. As most have noticed, fairly recently, I said I was going to go to the Scottish Festival of Motoring, and this thing is going to go there. So I am going to spend this episode prepping, trailering and moving all of the stuff up to put this car finally in front of everyone in the flesh. At a car show. That's episode 100. Here's the built car. Makes sense. So off camera, what we've done, bearing in mind that we're taking it to a car show, is Daniel has very kindly sorted out all of the not finished paint into being finished paint by getting the machine polisher out and buffing off what I can only describe as overspray. So that's all done, we're looking shiny. I've also dealt with the alignment, which was something that was well and truly on the to-do list. Not that I necessarily needed to do it for a car show, but the front wheels were doing a bit of the silly thing and it was quite noticeable. So now the front and the back sit at 0 degrees camber, 0 degrees toe, nice and neutral. We'll dial it in properly when I discover what it actually needs. But for the moment, I drive straight, that's the main thing. Other than that, all I need to do is put all the bits back on, get it onto a trailer, move it up to a car show. I mean, that's not difficult, is it? So whilst washing the car, it gave me an opportunity to test the waterproof integrity of it. And yes, I know there's no roof, but we washed all the other bits and it gave me an opportunity to see where excess water ingress is coming from. Because even when you get a light downpour, there are areas that you don't want to get water into. Obviously the scuttle does a good job of keeping all the electronics secure and waterproof. However, when do you think I was going to remember this being missing? When I had a footwell full of water. Because when you wash the car, the water's going to gather here, run down this bit and fall straight into your feet. Now that's not going to be ideal under any circumstances. So what we're going to need is the plate that I should have done about 50 episodes ago to cover that. But now that we know finally where this needs to live forever, we can do that. And this will be a quick one. Right, that will need riveted on. So I'm going to stop because that has its own levels of permanency that could cause me issues, because I also think I'm probably going to want to seal the bottom of this entirely, which is why I've bought this sort of rubbery edgy stuff. Kind of hoping it's going to be thick enough. Should take up the gap, and then we'll just do a wee silicone bead in here and here when it's time to finally fit that, and that should hopefully seal that whole thing up. Also, on the subject of sealing things up and making it nice and finished, I've done this. So this is just inch by 12 or 15 mil rubber, just strip. I have used the wee deburring tool and run down the edge of it to give it a tiny little radius, but it's rubber, so it's obviously not going to be a problem with the IVA because it deforms. I've also put in some dome-headed cap screws to secure it down, and that gets rid of that horrible ganky looking thing. Also tucks into the bottom of that, makes it look nice. Make it look nice. One down, other side to go. Seeing as how we're on this get things ready for the IVA, because we're doing it anyway, journey, who hasn't spotted this yet, including me, because I can't believe I got this far and not realised there's no mirrors on the car. We need mirrors. Now I'm not going to go and buy 2 sets of mirrors because there's no point in doing this before the IVA. I'll just buy the correct ones and then it goes through. These have got the E marking on them. They're lovely, they're round, the correct size. They'll bolt in. Really basic, simple stuff. It is really basic, simple stuff. Apart from when you buy it from the people who are supposed to understand really simple, basic stuff. And it doesn't come with the nuts, because why would you want the nuts to fit the mirror? So I'll just go dig some out from my own stock, shall I? So we now have a functional low cost. It's episode 100, but what we don't have is any available dyno bookings, which is the next thing we need to do, map it. So instead, for episode 100, I've set myself a challenge. Let's take the completed low cost to a car show, along with literally every other car that I own, and see if we can generate some channel interest. So in order to do that, you need to follow some steps. Step 1, obtain a tow vehicle. Step 2, use said tow vehicle to obtain a trailer. Step 3, once you've done that, get some friends together and then discuss what may or may not be Brian's destroyed MX-5 engine. We'll come back to that. Step 4, take said friends to the other vehicles and hand them the keys, praying that nothing goes wrong with those vehicles, whilst you then go back and get a low cost loaded onto a trailer. Once you have your entire convoy ready, depart for the car show. This was interesting because it actually gave me a chance to see my Mercedes for the first time ever from a position not inside the driver's seat. And I have to say, Chris did seem to look like he was enjoying driving it as well. Step 4, 5, I don't know, where are we at? Get to the car show, unload and set up your stand. Now, as it happens, we went to the Scottish Festival of Motoring up at Ingliston, once a year show, and I got quite a good stand inside the main hall. With that all set up, banners, cars polished, and that, by the way, took a disgusting amount of time to sort because it rained on the way up. We were ready. Just a few more things to do. So I like to provide metrics of measurement to every challenge that I do. I created 4 placards, one for each car plus a general stand placard with QR codes. Now those QR codes were going to allow me to see if anyone scanned them, went onto the YouTube page and subscribed or watched any of the things. I set all the counters to 0. It was time to see if this would make a difference. Right, so we're driving up, it is Sunday morning. So the base mark, the bench line, I'm not using word right because it's 6 in the morning line. 6,086 subscribers is what we're at right now. Every car has a QR code. Let's see where we finish, if we finish higher at all. My hope, my dream would be we nudge 5 figures and get to the 10k mark after today, but let's see if this is really going to be worth it. So the show itself was quite fun. Luckily we'd won a watch by the weather. It seemed to stay dry enough throughout the day. Turnout looked good. Cars were in abundance. We are 10 minutes to the gates opening. I've got all of my little QR coded things set out and we've got a wee seat, a perfect view to see who's going to actually pull their phone out and use it. We'll find out. I actually have been for 5 years building a low cost, and it does surprise me to say I don't get out much. So to take everything that I've done, all the fruits of my labours, and go to a car show and just let other people enjoy them and relax and kind of soak up the atmosphere was a rare thing for me these days. And I did have fun. It was good. Of course, all good car shows must come to an end. The departure was stressful. So everyone in the hall had to wait until the end because all of the other cars out in the fields, they all need to leave first, and there's a whole traffic thing because there's only one real exit to Ingliston. But despite that, everyone in the hall did not really think about that and fired up their engines. So we had to wait outside for quite a long time for that all to clear, because I have a trailer that I need to bring into the hall once everyone leaves in order to set up at Locost and get it home, and yeah, a whole thing. But it was good. We had the chairs, we sat outside, we watched some of the cars leave, which was a nice sight to behold that most folk probably don't get to see. Got all the cars home, got everything back in the unit. Everything looks good, no major dramas to report. So how effective is taking your entire YouTube car fleet to a car show? Not very. My QR codes had a total of 2 hits. And those 2 I actually remember because I had to poke people and say, go and have a look, have a try. So I would say, if you have cars and you want to drive traffic, don't go to a car show to do it. It is not very effective. No matter how good your trade stand may be, you're at the mercy of everyone else. And to be honest, I don't think people go to car shows for, well, I don't know what they go to car shows for. I found this really strange thing where people were just walking by stands very, very quickly taking pictures of cars, not even stopping to look at them. And the penny dropped with that. I think people are just harvesting TikTok data. Just, there you go, here's a whole load of videos. I've been to a car show, put it on TikTok or whatever and watch my view count go up. And I understand as a person who does YouTube, that's a bit of a contradiction in terms, but I put a lot more effort into it than that. Is that the way content creators are meant to behave? I don't know, but I found it really impersonal. Nobody really came over who hadn't seen the stuff, talked about it, asked questions, had any dialogue. The only people that actually did turn up were, interestingly enough, people that already know the stuff. Good Patreons, people that have been following the channel from the start who realised I was going to be there and took the time out of the day to come and say hello. And those people, I can't thank enough. It was great to meet many people that I've not met before in person, and you know, it was great to chat, so appreciate that. And of course, other people who I've met before and have followed builds from the start. It was great to catch up with you guys too. So yeah, thanks for coming along. But fundamentally, you're not going to be finding tools and track at many big organised car shows. Just not worth the drama. Well, that's not true. I'll probably take the Supra along to one because it was noticeably absent from this because, well, there's things going on. Stay tuned for that. That brings me to the end of the episode. And the question is, what's next? We're done by a ton. Well, there's a few things. The aforementioned Supra, that's going to be coming back very soon. Also, we've not really finished the Locost. I know the last episode was a bit of a cliffhanger, but yes, we're going to do more things to it. It now drives, but not very well, so it'll be mapped, it'll be shakedown tested. We've got an IVA to get through. I'm going to then modify it considerably after the IVA, because this is a car that's not going to be sold. Oh yeah, why would I say that? Because I sold the Merc. Yes, the guy who drove the Merc up, Chris, has been, since the day he first saw it, many, many months ago, continually badgering me that he would always be the first in line to buy it if it ever came up for sale. Well, as luck would have it, I've actually enjoyed the Merc, had it for a year, done all the things I want to do to it, but I'm a tinkerer. Guys, you know me. I'll end up messing with that Merc and ruining it. And to be quite honest, it's perfect the way it is just now. When Chris made me an offer I couldn't refuse at the car show, I said yes. So now that wonderful, lovely old Merc, the daily driver, the car I said I'd never sell because I wanted it so much, I've let it go on to somebody else. But the key point here is Chris really, really loves that car. For all of the people I could have sold that car to, he's the guy that should definitely own it next. But that leaves me with an open slot. Except it kind of doesn't. Like I say, the Supra's coming back, it's going to take up a lot of attention, and for a good while, the Locost will actually need to be trailered around. So there's going to be another less interesting daily driver, and that also leaves space for another project. And I actually don't know what that will be. Bear in mind, the actual building of a Locost is now finished, and other than racing the car, I don't really have anything else I need to do in this fun, wonderful studio. But that kind of defeats the point of YouTube. So at this point, as I wrap up this episode, and I've asked this a few times, I know, but I will ask you now once again, what do we do next? Anyway, before I say the precursory drive safe, I'm going to have to say one more thing. I need a little break. I'm really tired, guys. I've actually been suffering various injuries, including a knee, and I have been doing an episode a week for 5 years now. Now I've got a car that works, and you'll probably notice I've expedited a few things on that build to get this car running. We will be back, we're not going anywhere, but an episode a week hasn't yielded the fruit that it should have done, that YouTube promised it would. We're only at sort of 6,000 subs. It's less than 1,000 a year. It's going to take a long time to get to these big levels that everyone says you make an impact on YouTube with. So I've tried hard, and everyone that has supported, the 6,000 of you that follow us, I do appreciate it, and we're not going anywhere. But I'm probably going to take a couple of weeks off, if only to let the old inspiration grey matter come back to life. So later this month, you'll find content coming back. It's going to be slicker, it's going to be different. It's not going to be a build thread again that's 100 episode long. Well, not right away. We'll see what we get for a project. And last of all, before I say drive safe, to everyone who's followed this YouTube build from the start, and all the other YouTube builds, and everyone that's hung around and is going to continue to, thank you. I appreciate your support. To all the Patreons, by the way, if you don't know what that is, patreon.com/toolsandtrack. Particular thanks. I will get back to doing the advanced preview episodes once we get a bank of content again. I've depleted it all and I'm tired, so we'll be back very soon there as well. And I'm going to have a wee think about what we're doing Patreon too, because I know a lot of people came for Locost, and that's now done, but I've got ideas, so stay tuned there as well. And now we're at the bit. Like, bell, subscribe, and drive safe.